Namaste, Alina Hall here, and today we're going to be going through an easy, about 15-minute vinyasa flow class for beginners. So you'll notice that I have my mat. You certainly don't need a mat. You can practice on a soft surface at home, on a blanket, on a carpet, but a mat is certainly useful if you find your hands slipping away from you at any time. Also, a mat is nice because it gets your brain in the mindset of, I've unrolled my mat, now it's time for me, it's time to practice. But it's optional. I do, however, suggest if you have a tight low back and tight hamstrings, which is most of us, that you get yourself a couple of these. So these are made of foam, but you can certainly find some made of cork and other synthetic materials online. They don't have to be expensive. Just find a couple yoga blocks if you have tight hamstrings and a tight low back. So we're gonna get started in a comfortable seat, also known as Sukhasana, which you see me seated in here. My ankles are uncrossed because my hips naturally are a little bit more open after 30 years of practice, but you could certainly cross the ankles, or you could even bring the legs out if you notice that you have really tight hips. I also like suggesting sitting on some blankets or a pillow if that helps you sit taller. So whatever position allows you to sit tall, go ahead and find the shoulders over the hips and feel really grounded in your seat. And by that I mean you're pressing down through your sit bones so that you can lift up through your heart. Relax your shoulders as much as you can and bring the hands to rest somewhere, maybe palms down. Perhaps the palms come up, they can rest in your lap, or even come together at your heart or somewhere else on your body. But go ahead and find that tall, comfortable seat, however that looks like for you. And just take a few deep breaths into the belly, into the lowest part of the lungs. Deep inhale fully. And deep, slow exhale, let it all go. And continue like this, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Keep breathing deeply. If breathing in and out of the nose is accessible, go for it. If you need to breathe in or out of the mouth, that's fine. Whatever allows you to breathe slowly and deeply, relaxing more through the shoulders and opening out through the chest. Allow the head now to drop to one side, stretching the side of the neck. A couple deep breaths here. Roll the chin to the chest and find the head on the other side. Still sitting tall, still relaxing the shoulders away, and still breathing as deeply as you can. Release the chin to the chest once more, and then slowly lift the head. Roll the shoulders up by the ears, and press them back and down. Good. Now keep sitting tall. Again, it doesn't matter if the legs are outstretched or if you have them crossed. We'll grab one of our blocks though and bring it directly behind the tailbone, about 5 to 7 inches away. We're going to take the right hand and place it on that block. Think fingertips point away from you. Take the left hand and cross it on the outside of the right knee. That gives you a little bit of traction to be able to sit tall, twist, and look to the back of the room. Look behind you. Press through the hand, press through the seat. Keep breathing. And slowly unwind on an exhale. Before we come to the other side, if the feet are crossed, cross them the other way just for balance. Now take that right hand across, left hand comes behind on the block. Now I'm not locked out through the arm here, hiking the shoulder up. I'm actually bending the elbow, allowing the shoulder to soften away from the ear. Keep sitting tall on the inhales, and twist a little more on the exhales. Good, 2 more breaths here. Unwind on an exhale. However you need to do it, come to hands and knees, tabletop pose. If you have sore wrists, I suggest using the blocks. Bring them at this setting, medium setting like hot dogs, we would say in a kids art class, right? Take your time. You can always bring a blanket or a pillow under the knees if they're sore. Make sure the blocks for the hands, or both, right, are right underneath the shoulders. Got a neutral spine here, and I'll take a little sway side to side. Just releasing the hips and the low back. Now again, find your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists, and drop the belly and let the heart lift through. Slide the shoulders away from the ears, finding a cow pose. The tail is lifted up like a happy dog, and we're stretching the front of the body. Maybe lifting the chin just slightly. On an exhale, curve the spine round, create an angry cat shape, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin, lifting the belly button up towards the spine, stretching the back muscles. Now connect the breath. Inhale back to cow pose. Exhale back to cat pose. Keep it moving. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Good. Back to neutral spine. Now I'm going to really grab onto these blocks and wrap the pinky, wrap the thumb. I'm holding onto it really tight. That's going to help support the wrists as I tuck the toes, press down through the hands nice and strong, and start to lift the knees away from the floor, hips press up towards the sky, head relaxes in between the elbows and just hangs down. Now, if the backs of your legs are really tight, step those feet wider apart and bend the knees quite a bit. And notice how that lets you shift more weight back into your feet, getting long through the rib cage. Awesome. Let's look between the thumbs and start to walk the feet up towards the hands. Hands are still on these blocks, but maybe they come to a higher setting. Bend the knees, grab the front of the blocks, and then bring them up so they look like columns. We're going to stack the hands, elbows, and shoulders. I still have a bend in the knees here as I'm lifting up into halfway pose. Kind of like cow pose, shoulders down, heart lifting through. I'm peeking up with my eyes, but I still have a tiny tuck of the chin. Really grip with your toes here, and take a deep breath in. And exhale, drop the head, bend the elbows, bend the knees. Maybe resting your forearms on the blocks, or just letting your hands stay on the tops of the blocks. We'll flow to halfway pose again. Inhale, look up. Exhale, soften the knees and release, forward fold. Keep it going. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. This time, inhale, look up, and push through the feet. Reach up with the hands, out and up. Stretch up, grow as tall as you can. Press the hips forward a little bit. Lift the heart up. Take a deep breath in, and exhale. Bend the knees, release the hands, and bring them into heart center. Standing tall in mountain pose, releasing the hands, palms face front, shoulders relax back and down. And you're really pressing through the toes and the heels and lifting up through the arches of the feet. Take a deep breath in, look up, reach up. hinge from the hips and take the hands down to the blocks. Inhale, find your halfway pose. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head. Press through the feet, hands out and up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. And release, breathe in mountain pose. Palms facing forward, shoulders roll back. On your next inhale, reach the hands up. Same thing, reach up, grow taller. Exhale, all the way down. Bend the knees, hands out and reach towards the blocks. Drop the head. Inhale, halfway pose. Exhale, fold. And inhale, hands out and up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Release the hands, inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. Same thing, inhale, nose, out through the mouth. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, nose or mouth all the way down. Hands to blocks, inhale halfway. And exhale, lower the blocks back down to that medium setting and step on back to your downward facing dog. Feet don't need to be all the way to the back of your mat, just enough so that you can balance the weight by pushing into the hands, shift more weight back into the legs. Remember, if the backs of the legs are tight, turn the toes in, heels out. Lift the heels by bending the knees. And really push into the hands, take more weight into the balls of your feet. Then you can start to bend one knee more, push the opposite heel down, and switch. Side to side, we call this walking our dog. Starting to really wake up the feet and the backs of the legs. Now let's bring the knees down to the mat or your blanket or your pillow. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat and sit back onto the heels as low as you can. Grab one of your blocks, bring it at any setting you need to give your forehead enough support as you rest in child's pose. Letting the forehead rest on something, whether it's your block or your hands, maybe the floor. And just enjoy breathing slowly and deeply in this resting pose. Feel your heart beating, feel your cells vibrating with life. Amazing what just a few minutes of yoga and deep breathing can do for physical health, but also mental, emotional, and even spiritual health. Now take your time to gradually make your way to a seat. You can roll up, slip the hips to one side, support yourself with your hands. As you bring your feet forward, we'll take one restorative pose before we come to a rest. This is one of my favorite yin postures called diamond pose. So you might be used to seeing this with the feet closer in, the spine straight, and deep opening through the inner thighs and the hips. Today we'll make that more gentle by sending the feet forward a good amount so that you create a beautiful diamond shape. I like to bring blocks into the picture. You can bring your hands to blocks, maybe forearms. Depending on your level of flexibility, you might be able to bring a block at its highest setting between the feet and the forehead. But if you're not there, it doesn't matter. You just want to find somewhere where you find a good amount of stretch, you feel supported, and you just allow your body to melt in. So maybe that means swaying side to side a little bit. Maybe that means rolling the head. But we're just going to hang out here for a minute or so, just letting the head rest completely, letting the hips open gently. We're not forcing anything. We're just melting and surrendering into this posture. Know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you if this position is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for pretty much all of us. It's just how we deal with that discomfort. Never allowing ourselves to cross into the pain threshold. If you feel pain, back out. Honor your body and listen. Come a little bit higher. Adjust so that you're not hurting anymore. But when you feel discomfort, lean into it, breathe into it, loosening your muscles and your tissues from the inside out with stillness and patience and a slow, deep breath. See if you can let go of any lingering tension in the shoulders, the upper arms, the hands and wrists. Can you relax more through your face and your ears and the top of your head? Take a few more deep breaths. And then slowly, gradually rolling back up, stacking your vertebrae little by little. Eventually bringing your shoulders right over your hips, chin parallel to the floor. And then take your time to come onto your back for a final resting pose. We always end in Shavasana, coming to a comfortable position resting on our back. So taking your time, rolling down. For many people, I suggest keeping the feet on the floor and letting the knees fall together. My toes are slightly in, my heels are slightly out. And then I just rest the hands wherever is most comfortable. Maybe on your body, maybe extended out to your sides. Make sure you're not touching anything that will distract you. You'll be here for several minutes. Now, if lying flat on your back doesn't cause any pain, then feel free to extend the legs, wiggle around as much as you need to, and allow yourself to take up space, arms coming out, feet open. Make sure those shoulders are far away from the ears, and the base of the skull is resting on the ground. Now, wherever you are, legs extended, or knees together, or any other position that is comfortable for you to rest in. Take a few more deep on-purpose breaths. And then gradually release any control of the breath whatsoever. Let the body, let the brain take over, so that your soul and your mind can find deep rest now. We'll always end with a few minutes of Shavasana or final resting pose. I'll say Namaste now. I bow to you and I honor you for showing up and taking the time to practice yoga with me today. Rest in meditation, in Shavasana, for as long as you like. And then end with a few breaths or a few minutes of seated meditation. Be well. Talk soon. Namaste.